step across this line. I never dare you, motherfucker. Cross this one.
Electric sparking wires exposed. Scrotum cuts deep where the truth erodes. Rebel in the trenches, voice explodes. This the HLS, the code overload.
Like, what are you thinking? He said, you know what? Yeah, I agree. And then like 20 minutes later, you know what? I wasn't paying any attention.
He's not gonna lie. I wouldn't paying attention. We were like, we know.
When your name gets called, you pop up. Oh shit.
Yeah, and now that we're on video, I can see Electric go, whoop. It's all good.
I got to put the video on at work, so that way I make sure I pay attention during the meetings. Because
I've fallen asleep on camera in meetings.
All right, you want to hit that red button and just
it's been hit. It's been hit.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, we don't need you on camera, bro. We can simulate it.
I just want to say this. All right, we had the King's Decree episode, aka Punch World, and we talked about
what the hell is that?
The FAFO law. For those that don't know what FAFO means, it's fuck around and find out, or F around and find out. This week, a lot of people have been effing around and finding out. So today, I saw on Instagram 2 separate incidents that happened. One streamer was messing around with Larry Wheeler. Larry Wheeler he's a bodybuilder, and he's not just huge, he's also tall. He seems like such a great guy. And this dude is trying to flirt with his wife and try to be cute. Bro, you don't do that to nobody's wife. Larry Wheeler smacked the shit out of him.
Rampage was there, and Rampage was trying to tell him to chill.
Rampage.
He was trying to talk to his wife and say what he was like, yo, his wife is available. His wife is up for grabs. And Rampage, yo, chill. And this dude slapped the shit out of this dude.
He deserved it. FAFO law right there. That's the first incident. Second incident. I don't know if this kid's a boxer. I'm unfamiliar with him. And I'm also unfamiliar with the UFC fighter that he was talking shit to. But dude had enough of him. Threw a straight elbow straight towards his face. Took him out. Hot date. Yo.
Who's this?
Oh, man. I sent it.
Yeah, he sent it. I saw it.
What's that?
The dude popped up and tried to like, come on, let's squab then. It was like, it's too late, bro. You caught full elbow to your jawline.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful elbow. And this guy got 80 pounds.
The same dude.
Yeah,
that's the same dude.
That's what people said. It's the same dude.
That's the same guy.
2 times this week.
That's the same guy that Larry Wheeler slapped.
Then he's just running around trying to get clout off of getting slapped.
Is he wearing the same clothes?
Same party? Maybe.
No, he's not wearing the same clothes. Yeah, it's the same dude. Yeah, he's a boxer.
Maybe that's his fetish. He likes getting
Tiki?
hit.
Bro, that's Tiki. From HB Ultimate.
I don't know what that is.
He's one of the OGs, man. That's all you got to know. That's one of Rampage's boys, actually.
Oh, okay. And then the third one of the week, which actually happened, I think, yesterday, was a Shia LaBeouf at Mardi Gras. It looks like he got into an altercation with someone, and in the video, they whoop his ass. They beat his ass. And what's crazy is I saw him the day before. I was over at Mardi Gras, and we were on Bourbon Street. All the way towards the end of Bourbon Street, there's that place where you get the purple drinks. And yeah, Shia LaBeouf came through the crowd. He looked like he was a little tipsy, but he was like dancing with everybody, being friendly, everybody coming up to him, taking pictures. He seemed super friendly.
He's a pretty friendly dude.
From what I heard from other locals over there, that he was terrorizing the city. Like, he comes around and he starts fucking around and he gets belligerent and shit. So, yeah, man. In the video, the dude whooped his ass. Like,
because he headbutted the dude.
You weren't actually there.
I wasn't there for that. I was there when he came into the crowd. Like, this happened at night. I was there during the day when I saw him, and I was in the crowd, and he came through. He started dancing, and my girl's cousin took pictures with him and everything. Yeah, but cool. I kind of felt bad seeing that, man. I'm like, damn, man, he looked like he was a cool dude, but then again, you don't know what happens when people keep going and they don't know when to stop drinking. I don't know what happened. I don't know the news. I didn't read up on it. I just saw the video of him getting his ass beat, and I was like, damn, all right. But yeah,
we got posts out on Instagram.
Yep.
Rebel, you want to do your thing?
Yeah, y'all ready?
Been ready.
All right, cool. Welcome to the HLS Podcast, the podcast that never was, late to the party, to that point, Radical Teddy and friends, Haters loving side notes, her latest seduction, happens like sundowns, hippies loving showers, his longest speech, name pending. I'm the Rebel Alliance.
I'm Scrotawola.
And this is Electric Thunder.
And his dinner, apparently. And today we are welcoming back former guest. Do you want to introduce yourself, guest?
Yo, what's up, everybody? I guess I gotta have an alias as well, so call me Jaysome, I guess. I'll work on that in the future. Anyway, that's my second time being on. I think I'm getting the hang of it, so I'm glad to be here.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
And so today I had been talking to Jaysome for a while, and we was talking about like different things we can talk about. And the other day I was talking to my wife, and I was like, yo, prices getting higher, the economy's shifting. I'm like, yo, I need to find another way to make money. So I was like, I can either start selling ass, and I don't feel like doing that, right? I can start selling rocks, and I'm not doing that either. You know what I'm saying? Or I could either grift. And if I'm going to grift, there's two different ways I can grift. I can either grift by being like one of these male influencers that are just super anti-female, or I can just be a black conservative. And I think a black conservative is probably the most lucrative grift right now for a black dude. It's probably one of the easiest ones I'd be able to pull off. And it got me thinking about a conversation I was having with Jaysome about the state of like Black America and some of the people that are leading, I guess we would call them thought leaders. And one of the people that came up was Umar Johnson.
Oh, okay.
For those of y'all that don't know Umar is an influencer. You know what? Let me let Jaysome explain.
Yeah, that's why I'm on
don't
here.
know.
So just for a little bit of a oh, damn it.
What?
Oh, I accidentally shut down my computer.
Yeah.
I wonder what he was trying to do.
I'm glad you asked me. Let me drop some knowledge.
He just dropped.
Oh my God, you can't script that, dude.
Oh, great. It's funny.
Oh man.
Oh, okay. In his absence, let me ask you, because when you first said black conservative, I was like, wait a minute, there's two kinds of black conservative. There's the ones who are trying to actually, and then there's others who are painfully ignorant, if you will, where it's like,
there's actually three kinds, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit. That's
why I don't even vote.
We got Jaysome back.
Hey, my apologies. When I was doing a sound check, I moved my computer forward, so when I slid in, my knee hit the power button.
When you listen to the show, that timing is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then also to come back and say, see what happened when I slid in.
but can y'all hear me well?
Yeah, we good. You good.
All right, I do apologize. Let me try to get back on track. I said, for the record, let's correct it. That's not how the conversation came about. I have a relationship with, what's your name again?
Scrota.
Yeah, Scrota and I, we have a relationship that dates back probably like 41, 42 years.
About that much.
A kinship, if you will.
There's been conversations back and forth about a certain somebody that we're going to talk about a little bit. So I just want to get an understanding. When you said that you needed to find a way to get money, and you said you were either going to do something or be a black conservative, and you said being a black conservative is very easy. What do you mean by that? I like the way you're framing this whole thing up.
I don't think Umar's a black conservative, for the record. I think he definitely has conservative values, right? But when I talk about black conservatives, I'm talking about people like Candace Owens. I'm talking about people like that one gay black dude. I'm talking about
Wesley Hunt, Omarosa,
Tim Scott, like these people. You know what I'm saying?
Tim Scott.
Yeah, Tim
that's
Scott,
an easy way to make money, right?
I think going with the conservative grift in general is demonstrably more lucrative than being a conservative talking head is more lucrative than being a like left-wing talking head.
You're getting paid to be the black friend.
Yeah.
When you lead with that, are you seriously thinking about being a black conservative?
No, it was a joke conversation. Like I said, I was selling ass and selling rocks. I'm not gonna do any of those things. You know what I'm saying? I was just joking. Yo, it's hard out here. We got to look for something else to do. So that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right. All right, thanks for the clarification. Anyway, yeah, so we were talking about, for one, for those that don't know who Dr. Umar Johnson is, my brother and I, we've been having some conversation for quite some time. And I like Dr. Umar Johnson. I like what let me see, what he stands for.
Could we start off with who he is?
Yeah, what is he a
Okay.
doctor of?
All right, Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay, so he's a clinical psychologist, right? He's a certified clinical psychologist, and he's a Pan-African activist. I didn't look up his degrees or where they came from, but they were like from the Northeast. So he's from, I believe he's from Philadelphia. So he has he has several degrees. And I think one of the big things that people were talking about when he first popped up on the scene was, is he really a doctor? I guess when people hear doctor, they think of MD versus your doctorates in a number of things that can make you a doctor. So yes, he has his doctorates. But what's most importantly is he's noted and he's rooted for his belief that black people of African descent worldwide should be unified and self-reliant. And another thing that people talk about is this guy claims that he's related to the great Frederick Douglass. So there's many of talking points. He's all over the internet. He's been to the Breakfast Club, been to several different talk shows where he talks about these things. I've watched several of them. They range anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the topic of discussion and depending on what platform he's on and who's talking. He also does a lot of public speaking, right? One thing that he says is that he's very unapologetically black. He calls himself the King Kong of consciousness, right? The reason I like Dr. Umar is because he is everything pro-black, right? If it's about uplifting black people, he's all for it. So that's one of the things that intrigued me about Dr. Umar. There are some stances that might be received as radical and revolutionary and a little bit too much. One of his stances is, if you're going to invest in the black community, you're going to start with investing in relationship, black love. He heavily promotes black on black love. So he's against interracial, especially when you talk about Caucasian white people. Right? He sees black people as being spread out. He includes Afro-Latinas, the Afro-Hispanic community, all of those.
As you should.
Yeah. So I guess it's mainly white people that he's against, right? There's some funny clips online where if somebody's talking to a white lady, they'll show a picture of Dr. Umar saying, "Hey, don't do that." So I mean, for the most part, I think he's a very entertaining person as well. If you ever had a chance to look at Dr. Umar, sometimes he's a little bit over the top, but for the most part, I like the energy that he's promoting. Another controversial topic that when it relates to Dr. Umar is the FDMG, which is the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. So Dr. Umar Johnson believes that in order for black people to be self-reliant, there are some key pillars that have to be established in order for that self-reliance to be one of them. Educational sovereignty is one of them. So the FDMG, Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, is one of those pillars to where you can train black boys and black girls on how to be self-reliant, focusing on science, technology, engineering, and agriculture. And one of the things that he definitely pushes, everybody doesn't have to go to corporate America. We can learn how to learn trades, learn crafts and things. And especially with AI going, some of those things are going to be more important than not back. So that's one of the things he is known for. The reason I said that it was a scandal or it was controversial because he was focused on starting a school that's for black people, that's 100% funded by black people. So there was a lot of startups, a lot of community outreach, a lot of, hey, give me money. And I didn't follow the whole thing, but I think there was some hiring and firing of people who helped or didn't help push this thing forward to where he was the only one that was, I guess, overseeing it. A lot of people said, oh, it's a scam. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. From the research that I've done, and mind you, I'm not heavily invested. This is more of watching from a bird's eye view and liking what I'm hearing. I had a conversation with Scrota and he was talking about you need to do some heavy searching, and I'm like, bro, I'm busy. So when I say I'm not heavily invested in it, I just go from not just from the surface level of knowledge. I have looked at a little bit of research. I wouldn't say a lot of research, but a little bit of research to where I can give you some information about who this person is. So a lot of people said that he was stealing money. The university, the building is actually purchased. You can go to the appraisal district and look at I did this a while ago because, like I said, Scrota challenged me. And you can go and see that it is purchased. They do have some progress on it. One of his main complaints is that he wants this school to be funded and built by Black people. So he's not taking any money that comes from white people. So that's been some of the hurdles. So some of the contractors that he's having to help revitalize the school, they haven't completed their job. So it's a work in progress. And I think it's something that has been going on for the last 6 or 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, decade. So it's in where's the former site, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's one thing. Let me keep the conversation going. And feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I have a question. So
go for it.
We talked about some of the controversy that he's been in, but I think, again, just for people who might not be as acknowledged about what this is, right? Because we have a pretty diverse audience. What are like 2 things that you think that he's like spot on with?
Like I said, he is all about Black people and having self-reliance, right? He wants Black people to be in control instead of being controlled. He talks about the key pillars, which is education, economic self-reliance, Black banks, Black businesses, Black farming, to where we can have for lack of better terms, neutral playing field when it comes to advancing in the society that we're in. Psychological decolonization. There's a study, there's a study that was done, I think in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, that kids in America, by the time they're, I think it was age 4 or 6, that they did one doll test where they had same doll, different shade. And in this country, by the time you're 6 years of age, you already know that white is right and Black is whack. So he's talking about, there's one of the pillars about psychological decolonization, to where we grew up in this country and the heroes are always don't look like us. And then institutional building, schools, hospitals, things like that, to where we can actually flourish in the way that we can, opposed to being psychologically oppressed, systematically oppressed. There's a lot of things that are going on right now that still fall under that oppression of Black people. I think a lot of attention has been turned to immigrants, Hispanic or just any immigrants in general currently because of ICE. But
Hispanic.
but there's still a lot of hurdles that Black people have to come across. And
can I ask you this?
Go for it.
Is there anything that he talks about or preaches that you don't agree with, that you're like, that I'm good on that?
No, not really. No, I'm 10 toes down. I haven't heard anything too much. I think one of the things that I get into a debacle or argument or discussion with my siblings, I got 3 other siblings. I'm number 2 out of 4. And everybody doesn't like Umar except for myself, which is interesting. One thing that my siblings say is the interracial marriage. And they're like, oh, why should he say this and that? And I'm like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I can understand where he's coming from. He said, one of the things, and don't quote me on this paraphrasing, he said that in order for you to invest in a Black community, it starts with Black families. And if you're going to invest in a Black family, you need to choose, if you as a Black man, you need to choose a Black wife. Right. And I'm like, you know what? I get it. At the end of the day, people determine who they want to love. But from that concept, I understand that, because you have a Black wife, you have Black kids, blah, blah, blah. Not only is it just your wife, it's her side of the family, too, that reap the benefits of your hard work. So I agree on that stance. And my siblings don't.
I think I can understand the dissent to a degree, right? It sounded like the way you talked about it, it was like to each their own. And I understand because to me personally, I do understand what he's saying. One thing I told myself is I was going to marry a Nigerian woman because I wanted to marry a Nigerian woman. That was important to me, right? For a lot of the same reasons that you just said. I think where it's different is that the Umar stance on that is like, that is, if you don't do that, you're not committed. If you don't do this, you're not down for the cause. And that's a very different message than to each his own. That, like you just said, to each his own. I'm married to a Nigerian woman and a black woman. Other people might not be. And I don't look at those other couples as saying he's not as down because he married a white woman, because the downness, if you want to call it, is not measured in just who you marry. It's measured in what you do, your ideology, and the things you promote. So I don't look down on other people for doing that. I'm not going to do that because that's me and how I choose to express my love and stuff. But I think when you start doing that, you start sowing divisions in the black community that you're trying to unite. If there's 2 or 3 brothers that are like, hey, let's go and create this community center for our people, and one of them's married to a white woman, Umar Johnson would say, nah, he can't be part of it.
That's
And
not
I'm
true.
like, hold on real quick. And I'm like, if you're trying to create unity between those people, for him, from the things I've heard, it's more of all, he can be down, but he ain't really gonna be down. He's not really one of us if he's made
That's
that
not true.
decision. And I don't really rock with that.
Yeah, that's not true. And I don't think most people would rock with that if that was true, but that's not what was said. He's saying that you're not down for the cause if you make that choice. Doesn't mean you can't participate. Doesn't mean that you're excluded.
That's not what I said. I said specifically that. I said saying that person's not down others that person. And I don't think that othering people in the struggle is what we need to be doing. That's where
when you say others that person, what do you mean by that?
So when you other a person, it's you create a division. You say basically they not like us. It's like that person is different, and it puts them off to the side, and it devalues that person's value to whatever the cause or whatever it is.
It's like white folks marching for Black History Month, the allies, or non-gay people marching on behalf of gay people. They're not gay, but they're marching on behalf of gay people. They're not in the category. They are other. And so for you to say, oh, you're not part of this movement, is to other them.
Yeah, even though they are Black, even though they are part of the group, it's, oh, no, you're an ally group now, as opposed to being a part of the group.
Yeah. I don't think those African Americans who choose to marry white people are ostracized and can't participate. He's expressing his feelings on, if you were consciously aware of and agree with that preservation of culture, for lack of better terms, then you do what you can to make it as easy as possible. And I get that. You saying that you want to marry a Nigerian person, I'm assuming that preservation of culture is somewhere in there. I don't know what.
No, it's central to that.
Yeah,
it's central to that.
So preservation of culture, preservation of something looks like the end result of what you're doing.
But that's not the only way.
If he had married someone who wasn't,
I don't think he said that's the only way. So I agree, that's not the only way. You know what I'm saying? But
would that matter?
What would that matter?
Just to say you couldn't preserve your culture if you married a white woman.
It's more
America's still gonna see your kids as Black. You could still teach your kids Igbo.
Nobody said that it can't be done, but it's just more challenging. If you know somebody who's absolutely, you're gonna have to do that.
If you down for the cause, you down for the cause.
But no, just hear what I'm saying. If you want to preserve your culture and there's something important to you, your decisions will reflect that. Just Scrota said, he said, it might. It's probably leaning heavily towards that. Not saying that you can't preserve your culture, marry somebody who's from that thing. Because my dad sent me a video in 2004, and I thought it was very profound. And that's when I stepped up to the challenge. He showed me some foreigners from West Africa who migrated somehow, whether education or work, to Sweden. They married some blue-eyed, blonde-haired ladies, and their kids spoke their native tongue. And I found that to be very impressive. Why? Because they had to carry the mantle to preserve that culture. If they would have married somebody that's from that culture, that spoke that language, it'd be that much easier to maintain it. But because they married outside of that culture, they had to step up, which I found is very profound. To your point, yes, you can preserve the culture, but you have to step up. But back to my point, if that is something that is is important to you, you're going to make your journey as easy as possible, right? If you want to, well, maybe it shouldn't be the answer to anything, but I'm saying if you want to be
right, so I would disagree.
Okay, no problem. That's his premise of saying if you are trying to invest into the Black culture, then you will consciously make a decision to choose a Black partner to raise your kids. So
I disagree. I see the exact opposite. It's like reverse gentrification. If I go out and marry a white woman, I'm bringing you in. Now your kid's gonna be Black.
That's reverse gentrification. Reverse gentrification.
Yeah. You went from having what would have possibly been white kids to now you got Black kids. Now you got to be on the side. You have
now you have to have some tough ass conversation with your people.
Congratulations, you are now invested in Black success,
whether you like it or not.
Exactly. So to contrary your point, I believe that is making an ally. And to that point, I believe allies are more valuable in the sense that they will have access that we in the culture will not. There's a lot of people who will not listen or care what we as Black people say. They don't want to hear nothing from Black people. They don't care about our struggle. They don't care about our cause. They don't care about us. But when they wind up having little Black grandbabies, they're like, oh, wait a minute. Huh. A little Becky or somebody knocked it down with one of us, and now they got little cute Black grandbabies. You've seen it, you've heard it all the time. And same thing. There's plenty of people who felt some type of way and then they got set right by Jim Bob. Like, that's part of the reason racism up north is much, in my opinion, more ingrained than racism down here, because down here people are more vocal with it. And they'll be like, hey, we don't like your kind.
They have to be around each other.
Exactly. And Jim Bob be like, hey, you can't say that. And one of his own people will set him right. And he'd be like, you know what?
So I disagree with that statement of marrying outside of your race creates an ally. It might create an ally with that partner who has to deal with you. But if that was the case, there has been plenty of interracial kids since the time of slavery, even afterwards, and there's still going to be more interracial kids. That doesn't create a bond. That doesn't create a bond with that family.
Doesn't necessarily do that, yeah.
So I disagree with that statement. If that's your
then by that same logic, then the same kids who both have Nigerian parents could wind up not knowing their language and eventually just being RBPs.
That is true, but
I'm half Nigerian genetically.
But the statement of it creates an ally. I think that's a stretch.
I don't know if that statement was absolute. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that the reason that a Black man would marry a white woman is because he is trying to be white himself or closer to whiteness?
I wouldn't blanket that statement and just say, yep, that's what it is. I'd probably have to look
I mean, you're free to talk about it however you want to. I'm just curious.
Which I am trying to.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't blanket that as, oh yeah, he's just trying to be white or whatever the case. Me personally, I wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But who am I to cast judgment on someone else? There has been some statements where white women are the prize. White women are viewed as the prize. If you get you a white woman, you know what I'm saying? And some people believe that's that psychological colonization that stems from being outside and seeing them as a higher tier. When we get closer to white people, we feel that we've established a lot of things. Some people feel that way. So if somebody starts talking along those lines, then I can understand where they're coming from. But like I said, I would have to look at each individual on a case-by-case scenario.
And I think that makes the most sense. I would agree with pretty much a good part of what you said as far as the core. But Umar Johnson is a person who says that his stance is absolute and non-negotiable. And the only reason, he's on a number of occasions, the only reason that a Black man would marry a white person is because he himself wants to be white and he values that whiteness more than his own Blackness.
And he can be full wrong in saying that.
Is there any possible truth in that?
I think to what you said, there could be truth here and there with certain individuals, like you said, to each their own. What I'm saying is that Umar Johnson does not allow for that condition. He repeatedly says that it's absolute. That's how he feels, and he cannot be swayed against that. So I think there's a lot of room for difference of opinions. There's a lot of room for like different strokes, different folks. I think there's definitely people that think that. Absolutely. I wouldn't be able to throw a blanket over everybody like he does. And for that reason, I can't stand with him on that stance.
I don't know why me personally, I don't know why a black person would marry.
But do you agree with it being like a blanket because that's what he says? Do you agree with it's just a blanket? Because he does preach that.
I get where he's coming from.
Ike, I can give you an example. My dad, very pro-black, went to jail because he was made the scapegoat at a company that he worked at. When he got out of jail, none of the sisters would mess with him because he was a felon. The only woman that gave him a time of day was a white lady, and he wound up marrying that white lady.
I mean,
now granted, my dad, being who he is, later wound up cheating on that white lady with more black women, and now he's
your dad, which means that he at some point in time.
But the point is, that's how he wound up marrying a white lady.
And I guess to that point, there's some circumstances that create that.
There ain't no room in Dr. Umar's world for that. Dr. Umar telling my dad, "Oh, you trying to be close to whiteness?"
Yeah, there's no room in his worldview about that. There's no room for that,
and that's why it's so short-sighted.
So for me, when I was in the military, we went to Canada. We went to Halifax, Canada. And I guess my pro-black, I had a fist pump. Y'all didn't see it. I guess my pro-blackness starts from a long time ago. Because we went to Canada. There were a lot of attractive white ladies. Not just regular white ladies. Like these model type white ladies. Big in the front, heavy in the back, long hair. All my homies disappeared. We went to the club and they all disappeared. I told myself, I said, I have to get rejected by every black woman here before I pursue a white lady. And guess what? I got rejected by every black woman there. And I took my butt home.
There you go. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody didn't like me, bro.
No, but again, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with you having that personal stance as long as it's not rooted in like
pro-black.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as it's not rooted in anything like that's super detrimental. People have their preferences or whatever. But I think my contention is that in a lot of his stances, Umar Johnson says blackness, to be a real person who's really pro-black, it has to look this way. And anybody who does not do that isn't really black.
Hold up.
Oh, well, let's not say that because that's not what he says.
But I'm just saying,
that's not what he says.
That seems so short-sighted.
I have quotes.
Pull up a quote, because I've listened to Dr. Umar way more than you.
Are we? But are you saying that?
I'm saying.
What are you saying would be right then? What do you think? What do you think Dr. Umar believes in that regard?
Hold on, Electric was trying to say something.
Oh no, I was just thinking, like, hearing that. And if that is a quote, that goes...
Very inflammatory.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. Imagine hearing that come from a German's mouth, right? What does that sound like? This man is saying the same thing. People would say it's racism. So say for instance, Hitler, what was his thing?
Well,
like, you have to be pure-blooded.
No, let him make his point. Let him make his point. Let him make his point. We don't have to agree with this point.
Now, I'm only saying if that quote is true, and what I'm hearing sounds exactly like what Hitler would be stating.
No. Okay. Let me know.
Is that a real quote or is it not?
It's not a real quote.
Sure. I mean, I'll look it up. We can continue the conversation, but I'll bring it up when I grab it.
Yeah, bring it
up. There's a lot of reasons, though, like people there are some people out there who they believe they're getting one back for the ancestors. They believe they're getting one on Master's daughter. They believe, yeah.
There's people that think
there's
that.
A lot. There's plenty. There's a lot of people out there. The same
it's
way,
crazy, but there are.
The same way Dr. Umar believes, unless you marry a black woman, you are not down. There's a lot of people who, hey man, wars are fight all kinds of ways, man. So there's a lot of folks that have a lot of beliefs. There's fetishes. There's all kinds of stuff. So
what's going on over there?
Yeah,
it's crazy. But yeah, I know people who think like that.
Yeah.
I used to hang out with people who think like that.
Exactly. I know some extremely pro-black dudes.
I do not think like that. For the record, I don't think like that.
And especially
that's what first put me on to that. I remember thinking like, oh man, we need to go back to Africa and blah, blah, blah. And there was a dude that was like, hell no. My ancestors built this. This is more mine than anybody's. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
And that's almost equivalent to the Hispanic people saying they built this subdivision. They should know. I'm
I
like,
wouldn't be.
just because you built it.
We said in former Mexico.
I'm saying, yes, we are very instrumental in the development of this country in every aspect. And in order to regain,
leave.
No, that's leaving is an option. A lot of people have left because they don't see any change. But Dr. Umar is saying, in order for the change to happen, this is what needs to happen. I've told a couple of my friends, I'm like, America's big as hell. They got 4 time zones. There's a lot of space and opportunity. And in order for people of color to feel a sense of freedom, you have to have your own stuff. If you have a black bank, black hospital, black grocery store, and all this stuff in a black part of town, there's going to be a sense of freedom. You have your own black police officers that are policing. There's going to be a different sense of freedom in that society than what we have right now. Some people are working towards that, but in order for you to have that true sense of freedom, that is what's going to happen. Call it Blackville, USA. Call it...
Everyone on this podcast agrees wholeheartedly with that, right? And one of my issues is that people like him speak in platitudes. And what platitudes are just things that are generally like pretty easily like agreeable, right? A good part, I'd say about 70 to 80% of what he says is legit. And I would agree with, and I think most of the people on this podcast would agree with, about Black self-actualization, independence, pride in your culture, things like that, right? Because I consider myself very pro-Black. But my problem is that it feels like he brings people in with that and then leads with things that, in my opinion, separate the community. So you talked about quotes, and I'm going to read some quotes, and you let me know if you agree with these or not. Or, you know what? I'm just reading some quotes, and then we can talk about it, right?
And cite your sources, if you don't mind.
No problem. So he says that I would argue the reason Black men marry white women is because they wish they were white themselves. And having a white man's prize, his queen, is a psychological symbol to myself that I am equal to him.
Okay.
I don't think that's the reason that Black men marry white women.
Okay.
There's no ifs, there's no sums, there's no maybe. He says, he said the only woman on earth who can understand a Black man is a Black woman.
Okay.
And that's why I cannot respect any Black man who is not committed to a Black woman. I think the first part of that sentence is true. I'm never going to understand what it is to be a woman because I'm a man. I'm not going to. And a non-Black person can never 100% understand what it is to be Black if they're not Black. Do we need 100%? I watched the Bad Bunny show, and a lot of that Puerto Rican stuff I felt too, but I'm like, I don't really get it like they do. You know what I'm saying?
I had to go watch
it.
So
I get that first part. You know what I'm saying? The second part, I don't get. I don't agree with at all. He says, I cannot respect any Black man who is not committed to a Black woman. So if you're a Black man and you don't marry a Black woman, I don't respect you.
So real quick, understand that he
disagree.
Understand that he said, I cannot. He didn't say you should not, like telling people what to do. He's saying that he cannot. And that's his opinion. That's his choice. And when you say, I disagree with your opinion, if I say, man, I can't eat food that's made over here because of whatever reason, whether it's valid or not, that's my opinion. If he was
there's some people that don't like grits.
If he's telling everybody you should not, he's telling people what to do, then yeah, I can understand why you disagree with him telling you what to do. But
I think can be implied by saying,
in that profession, it's especially if you were, I'm a doctor.
So like any public figure has rhetorical responsibility, I think. And most people know what they're doing.
I'll be right back.
All right, no problem.
Especially a doctor of psychology.
So yeah, exactly right.
Well, that said, technically,
I don't want to go there.
Okay, because
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
Board of Pennsylvania was like, what license? And he was like, I never said I had a license. And they were like, okay, we can't revoke your license because you never had one. But to that point, if we're then going to say, well, we don't have to respect his opinion, then why are we listening to his opinions?
Again, if you're an influencer, right? Do you know you have influence? Right. Now, we're on this podcast right now, and we don't have nearly as big of an audience as Umar Johnson, right?
You don't know when they're listening to this?
As of the time of this recording, right? But even we on this podcast said, I understand how people can say that. I don't feel that way.
Right.
But I don't have a problem with other people thinking. I said, look, it's important to me that I married a Nigerian woman. I believe that's important to me. However, and then I qualified that statement. Qualifying statements are really important, but if we had the rhetorical wherewithal to qualify our statements, and every last one of us that spoke today did that. But when you don't do that, it sometimes speaks volumes of what you are saying, speaks louder than what you are saying. Donald Trump was accused of inciting a riot, and I didn't tell anybody to riot. It's okay. You didn't tell anyone to riot, and we know what the message of that day was.
You know what I'm saying? People on both sides.
Like, we know what the message is. And Umar Johnson, again, like you said, a doctor of science, of psychology. He knows unless he's a really bad doctor, right? He should know what he's saying. I think that it's not a coincidence that you leave these loopholes in, because when you talk about the Frederick Douglass thing, when you talk about the degree thing, there's always a loophole. There's always, I didn't say this. I said I'm his kin, not his relative. And kin means that, like, there's always a thing. I was told by a very wise woman, my mom, anytime you tell more than 3 excuses in a row, you're wrong.
I like that. I like that.
I like that.
I don't like that, but it's true. Even when, like, in my past, I had some clients in the past, and there were a series of unfortunate events that happened that needed to be explained, right? And they legit were not my doing, but I had to explain myself a repeated amount of times. And I had to be like, listen, if I have to do this, then I drop the ball somewhere. And there has to be some personal accountability held to it. Sometimes I got to just eat that. And I never said that, but I can see how people can say, I can see how you arrive to that conclusion. So I probably should be more precise with my wording. You know what I'm saying? He might not have done anything wrong, but if that's happening over and over again, we're not ignorant of the fact. When you say those things, you're constantly preaching that he's not bringing those people into the fold. Like, he's, as many times, unapologetically black, absolute and non-negotiable are the words that he consistently says. So this isn't it's not a to each their own thing, because he is very much not a to each your own person. It's absolutely.
It's also so short-sighted. Like, you act like it was a black president that signed the Civil Rights Act. You act like enacting the laws that have changed the country. We've marched. We've done all we can. Didn't nobody have to listen to us? Allies are extremely important. That's why I'm like, hey, allies, go march. Go tell your daddy he wrong. Go tell your cousin they wrong. Y'all get out there and do the work.
But we have to make sure that we understand the agenda, because the allies who are marching on our behalf without knowing can change the agenda.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
So allies are important, but they're not
really allies if they're not staying up on the cause.
I think it's important, because what Electric did right now is he qualified your blanket statement.
Yeah.
Allies are super important. They are super important. However, let's qualify that and saying they got to make sure that A, B, and C.
Yeah.
My problem is that there's no qualifying statements of Dr. Umar. None.
But here's to that point. Let me make a Dr. Umar blanket statement. Are you really an ally if you're not staying up on the agenda?
What's the agenda? You got to identify the agenda. The agenda is.
That's the point.
All black people.
There's black people who don't stay up on the agenda.
That's his point. That's his point.
Yeah, that's the point. So you can marry a black person and you could have you a Candace Owens. It's like,
do you see how not qualifying those things as a public figure?
But to that point,
so
I would
absolute could be problematic.
No.
But to that point, oh, you married a black one. That don't mean nothing. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, man. And to that point, just because you black, she black, y'all have black kids, y'all could totally be on the wrong side.
Absolutely. But the chance of that happening is not as great as if you marry.
You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. And to that point, there's probably some brother in the middle of Ohio who ain't got no sisters, no melanin around him nowhere, but he's still down. And whoever he married, they might be an ally.
You got people that are living in Finland fighting for the cause of something that's
right?
really far away from them. Look, here's my thing, right? I'm all about
Look
unity
at the
and
people
division
who've
within the
died.
community.
The most notable people who've died for ICE, because there have been black and brown people who've died from ICE. But once it started being like the white dude nurse, the white lady, then it's making national news now. Oh, people are
I
like,
don't
wait a
like
minute.
that. I don't like
The
that.
reason it's making
But to
national news
that
because it's
point,
white
these were
people.
allies.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
These were allies.
For them to make national news and the black person who's doing the same thing to not make national news, I don't think that's a talking point. Oh, they're allies. I'm like,
I don't like that. The fact that's the whole Black Lives Matter thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how come it has to be X, Y, and Z? I think what is being highlighted here is that regardless if we like it or not, that's the state that we live in now. And any eyes on the right issues are good eyes. And I would prefer, again, I'm not saying I'd prefer a black person to be shot and to make a big. I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody to get shot. No, but Jaysome, I qualified my statement. You know what I'm saying?
hey, you was about to let it flip.
Yeah, I got to qualify.
Got you on the radio.
I'm not a. No, we not live, baby.
Okay, then.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my problem, is that there's a lot of inflammatory statements. And I think that I don't have a problem with inflammatory statements because I like a lot of people who are incredibly inflammatory. You know what I'm saying? Let me put it like this. I'm in a room with another Igbo person, okay?
Yes.
And I want to have a Igbo celebration day. And I'm like, hey, let's plan this Igbo celebration day. But this other brother here is Igbo, but he married a white woman. And we're talking, and we're planning, and we're planning.
I'm not fucking with him. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But why not? If he's planning an Igbo celebration with Igbo culture, just like the people that you saw in Finland, would that not benefit the community? We might throw a dope ass thing that benefits the community. And now because of my Umarism, I'm stopping that.
So one, I was being very facetious.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
When I said it, so I think we're talking about the decision making. Let me say, I think Dr. Umar is talking about the decision making process in that moment, right? After you've made that decision, and Dr. Umar has said several times that if you're a black person that have kids by a non-black person, your kids are black. They're in the community. Your decision making, I wouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. He'll talk about that decision making, but your kids are in the community, right?
Hold on, I didn't finish my point. Hold on one second. I didn't finish my point.
I'm sorry.
So what I was saying was, I'm planning this thing with this guy, right? He married someone who wasn't Igbo. Let's say he married somebody who was from Afghanistan or from Dubai or whatever, white. And then it comes up in conversation, and I'm like, yeah, I don't respect anybody who doesn't commit themselves to a black woman.
Okay.
That's problematic for that relationship.
Is it?
I don't think anyone who hears that.
I think it can be. I don't think it's automatically.
Hold on. I think that it's very reasonable and probably expected. That's going to be problematic with that relationship. I don't expect anyone who divulges that information for that union or that partnership to last long, because that sows division. And what's going to happen is once that division is sown, you can't achieve what was there previously. So my thing is, why sow that division? Why take such a hardline stance? Because I wholeheartedly disagree with that stance.
Okay.
And it's okay for me to disagree with him. But I take teachers, orators, influencers, I take that job incredibly seriously, because those are the people who teach our society and inform our society and inform our public.
Yeah.
So if a teacher is teaching about something irresponsibly, I take issue with that. And if he's talking about what it is to be a down black brother, and he has the number of people there, and he is preaching, even if it's a personal philosophy, on something that inherently sows division, I don't fuck with it.
So one, Dr. Umar has been speaking this way even before the followers. You're saying that now that he has a lot of followers, he needs to change.
Never said that.
So what are you saying?
I said that there's responsibility in how you speak. I said, I think you might have been away when we were talking about it. I said, even in this conversation right here, we made claims, but we don't have a following as of this recording.
Thank you.
But
get it right.
We made claims that were along the line of blanket statements because, let's face it, that's how people talk. You know what I'm saying? But we also had the wherewithal to qualify those statements. hey, I dated a Nigerian woman. I married a Nigerian woman. I told myself I'm not dating anybody who's not Nigerian. That's what I told myself. And I did that, and I married a Nigerian woman, right? Because those are the values that are important to me. However, I qualified by saying I don't necessarily say that I can't respect anybody who doesn't do the same thing. I don't look down on anybody who doesn't do the same thing. I don't say, you know what? I'm cool with you. I can work with you, but you're not the same as me. I don't look at it like that. And we've qualified those statements that we made that could be divisive. He doesn't do that. And that's divisive.
Do you think that people have those type of thoughts? They just don't express it?
I think a PhD holder of psychology.
That wasn't my question.
Yes.
I think you should know that. Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think the problem is right now, and I'm only speaking on my own anecdotal experiences, is that when you have a marginalized society, whether it be Blacks, whether it be Igbo, whether it be Native American or whatever, something is lost. And a lot of the things that's lost is humanity. That's one of the biggest things that's lost with marginalization. And I think that people strive to reclaim what was lost. That's what Black History Month is about, reclaim what was lost. Black History Month is American history. And so we want to be like, hey, no, we did this, we did that. We invented the stop sign. We want to start claiming things because that gives us that humanity back that we're rightfully owed, right? I think what happens is when you mix that up with this barbershop intellectualism, you mix that up with pro-Blackness at all costs, you mix that up with things that borderline Black separatism, then you start getting messages that, in my opinion, go too far. That's how you start getting the people that say the Kemet Society of the ancient Egyptians and all this stuff, and those things just aren't true. That's how you start getting people saying that, oh, Native Americans are actually Black. That's how you start getting people reaching too far and actually doing things that actually end up separating the community instead of unifying over that same rally, over that same agenda. I think people like, what's his name, Jafar, or what's the name of the dude?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't matter. With the glasses?
Yeah, I think people like that and Dr. Umar are part of that problem that feed into that engine of Black grief and an overcompensation. Because we're great as it is. I don't think we have to reach that far.
So one, we're great as it is kind of sounds like comfort in where the Black community is. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it sounds like it. Do you think there is an attack on the Black community in America?
Sustained,
Always.
Systemic, ingrained.
Yeah.
Okay. So what things?
Foundational.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're on the same page. So what things can be done to break away from that or change that?
Actually, I would rather hear your answer on this because
you're
not going to agree with our answer.
I'm not asking to agree.
You don't know that?
I'm just asking to hear your thoughts.
I would like to hear your thoughts as well first. You are the guest, so guest first. But
I'll go. Do you think a system can change from within?
That was a question to a question? Hold on, what?
Yeah, because it's gonna be a shortcut to.
So my question, what was my question again?
What do you think
said
we can
what
do
can be done to improve the conditions of?
Yeah,
and then
get the attack on the Black community.
And then Rebel, you said what?
Do you think a system can be changed from within?
A system, very general question. I think a system can be changed from within. I do think so. It's very contingent on that system, but I think depending on what it is, it's possible.
I'll answer the question. I think in order to change the material conditions of Black people, number one, I think that we need to unify under a common agenda. And that's very vague. So I'll try to specify.
Very vague, but very big.
I don't.
Yeah. But
vague,
even in that, who is we?
Huge.
Hold on. Yeah, exactly. Right. And so when I say we, I mean anybody who is for equality. Right. I think Black unity is as important as it gets. Right. So all of these people that are sowing division when it comes to, and this isn't a non-answer, this is a direct answer, right? I think we need to be able to call out, identify the people who are sowing division with shadism, racism. Rebel and I went to school in Boston. One of the kind of jokey joke things that happened a lot was that we talked about people being Caribbean, African, and a regular black person. You know what I'm saying? And even though those are jokes, those are still things that sow division. I'm Nigerian, and we call Black Americans Akata. I don't think that's appropriate if we're trying to bring people together under a tent, because I think that they're in the same tent that we're in. They might be on a different side of the tent, but we're in the same tent.
What does it mean?
So I think things like that.
What does it mean, Akata?
Depends on who you ask.
You know what? I don't know, but I do know how it's used.
It's used as
that's all I need to know.
It's used as pejorative.
It's used as a differentiation between African Americans and Africans, or
it's used like a slur.
I guess my question,
but if you talk to a lot of people, they won't.
I wouldn't say this used as a slur. It can be viewed as a slur, but it's not. It's an actual city in Nigeria.
Yeah. Calling someone a dashing gent can't be viewed as a slur.
A dashing gent.
A dashing gent. So again, let me land this plane real quick, okay?
Yeah.
So those things can be readily identified, okay, as blackness is not a monolith and stuff like that. We need to make sure that we're not being divisive, and we need to like stand together. And when I say we, I don't mean just black people. Anybody for the cause. Anybody for the cause. Anybody for the cause. Because when we say we want A, B, and C, when these black political groups rally, I want as many black people behind them rallying, but I also want as many people behind them rallying, because that applies more pressure. The second thing, and I'll do this real quick, is that we also have to realize that the systemic problems that inflict black people are not inherently or solely just racial. Class segregation and class discrimination, in my opinion, is a much more divisive and problematic and systemic issue in this country than anything else. So once we start getting more class consciousness within our people and we start uniting as our people, we can start attacking these problems that are actually creating the systems that hold us down. That's why I was a big fan of what the actual Black Panther Party was about.
When you say class consciousness, can you give an example of what you're talking about?
Poor folks
so
versus rich folks.
We live in that's simple. We're rich folks. So what's happening is right now, the ruling class is a white ruling class, but they are less concerned about the marginalized people being black or Hispanic or whatever as they are about them being rich. They want to stay rich, and so whoever's at the bottom of that totem pole will remain there so they can stay rich. When we have the slaves freed in the South, poor slaves, who are they living right next to? They're living with poor white people who are in very much similar conditions. Obviously, they're not the same. And so when you have poor people realizing, oh, the government don't care about me. Oh, the government has harder sentencing on me than they do rich people. Look what's going on right now. You think if any poor person ran into this two-tiered system of justice, they would be allowed to just. And so what happens is we need to realize as a people, class consciousness is the root of a lot of our problems.
I disagree. I don't think that poor white people and poor black people get treated the same.
I never said the same. I said very similar, and I said specifically, obviously there's a lot of things that are different, but there's a lot of overlap. If you go down to a little bit south of where we are right now, you're running into a lot of people who are red all day, but if you talk to them about affordability, you talk to them about healthcare, you talk to them about all these other things that affect our community specifically because we're statistically going to be of a lower socioeconomic class, they're going to agree on you. Look at New York, where almost all of the people voted for a socialist, conservative people doing because the issues are the same. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, go ahead.
And to that point,
let me go.
No, go ahead. To that point, go ahead.
That's part of why you see things like the Epstein files being as sought after as they are, because the people who are in it are the powerful or
the rich.
Yeah, if it was a bunch of poor folks in there, it's not like this is the first time there's been like a sex trafficking ring, and like
first time being brought.
No.
And it's the rich of the rich. Who created the systems that are oppressing everybody?
Exactly.
Okay, just to go back to
people wouldn't care about the Epstein files if it was a bunch of poor folk in it.
And I'm hoping that something happens, but I wouldn't be surprised if nothing happens. But just to keep back on topic, when you said poor black people in the classes, yes, the class system does let the top 1% do what they want to do. But when you said that poor black people and poor white people have similar conditions, I would say yes, similar conditions. True, yes. Similar concerns, yes, they want the healthcare and all that other stuff. But the opportunities that lay in front of them, which is what I'm talking about, are very different just by the
absolutely.
Right? So I wouldn't put that as too much as a high priority when it comes to classism. I'm talking about the opportunities, right? If we take care of opportunities, then one can move up. Those rich people have created a system to where they stay where they are and poor people stay where they are. So
we could chew gum and walk at the same time, right? So I definitely agree with what you're saying. And that's why I said one of the two things that we can do is build solidarity within our community, but also build solidarity with other communities under a common goal. And that's class consciousness. Those are two things that I think are very important.
It goes to the main point that I wanted to hit, though. This dude is claiming to be a Pan-Africanist. And if you're a Pan-Africanist, the last thing you should be doing is trying to ostracize other black people. Oh, you're not black enough, or you're not black enough. The whole point of Pan-Africanism is solidarity across all people.
Well, once again, the statement is he's trying to ostracize. He's critiquing people's choices and saying, hey, that's not what I would do.
And that in of itself is not Pan-African.
Okay. All right.
So he's a fake Pan-African.
Call it what you want, but I agree with where he's coming from. The statement
by his logic, the NAACP shouldn't exist. There's a lot of white people that helped co-found the NAACP.
Yeah, but the NAACP is for the advancement of colored people.
Right. Yeah.
So you can have, to piggyback off of that, I think Scrotus said that, hey, if I'm doing something, if black people are doing something, I want to have as many people as possible. Okay, fine, great. But I do think it starts with unity from within. That's
the first thing I said. Yeah.
Yeah. But you also said, hey, if you have other people moving, great. I think the first thing needs to be unity from within. And if you listen to Dr. Umar Johnson, when it comes to elections, he's like, Democrat, Republican, they're all the same. Blacks need to have a black agenda.
We did
say unified black agenda. No, we didn't.
We lost 97. We can go through the numbers.
What's the black agenda? What's the black agenda?
Getting Kamala elected.
So when I talk about black agenda, a list of things that black people need.
That was the call. We literally had calls.
Showed up. We had calls. We had lists. We had a lot of pressure. Historically,
we showed out. Everyone else did not. So you were talking about, oh, we don't need allies. Apparently we did, because they weren't there. And now this is where we are. So that goes completely against the reality. We can unify all we want to, but apparently by ourselves, we are not enough.
So I think that's probably where the system can't be changed, and then you have to create another system to where you can.
No, disagree. Because we're not heavily enough in the system. So that's part of the problem there.
So if we were heavily in the system, we'd be able to change the system.
Absolutely.
This current system, I don't think.
We had one black president.
It's hard to do.
We got the Affordable Care Act.
We got one black president and we got Affordable Care done.
When you say we, it's not.
And he did it in half a term. He did it half of his first term. After that, midterm elections, Republicans came in. They wouldn't let him do anything else. So one black president in 2 years.
When you say who is we? That the Affordable Care Act.
We are the black people who voted for him.
No.
So when I say we, here's what I mean.
Any black person that didn't vote for him is clearly not part of the movement.
Here's what I mean when I say we. When I say we, again, I always start from a position of.
Hold on real quick. I'm talking about we when you say we got the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act is not exclusively for black people.
When I say we, here's what I mean. Okay. I always start from a place of Pan-Africanism. Okay. So when I say we, I'm talking about the black people who showed up in droves to help push him into election. Okay. Him to get the election. I also say we, again, secondly, from a class conscious standpoint. So Americans that are at a lower class have access to health care that they never had in this country.
And that is
So
correct.
that we is doing a lot of lifting.
But that is not exclusively for Black people. So what is exclusively for Black people?
Yeah.
There's nothing
This is February. We're having like all types of Black people being like, oh, the Black person invented this. Black person, they didn't invent it exclusively for Black people, but it benefits us. Thank you to the Black lady who invented GPS. Love that. Thank you to the Black dude that invented the traffic light.
So back to the bills that exclusively affect Black people, there is none. There's a reason for that. There's a system without one.
There's none? Or is that there's none?
Yeah, there's none.
Well,
I'm sure there's somebody.
Hold on.
Non-Black benefits from the Crown Act.
Hold on. What would a bill or something that exclusively benefits Black people look like?
Reparations.
No, hold on.
Let's say something similar to the anti-Asian law, something that's specifically, exclusively for a certain group of people, because Black is a specific group of people, correct? In America, you got Black, Hispanics, Latino. When you fill in out the census, they say Black or African American. When you're able to pass a bill or something that is designed exclusively for Black people, then yeah, then you can have something. But there's nothing like that. There's exclusive bills for other racial groups or ethnic groups, like the anti-Asian law that was passed.
What is that? Unfamiliar.
Google it.
It's quicker. Okay.
So that's what I'm talking about. Now, as far as Blacks benefiting off of certain bills that are passed, great, but it's nothing exclusively for Black people. If you type in the United States of America, what bills, what laws have been passed that go to a specific group of people, you're not gonna find anything that's just for Black people.
So Loving versus Virginia, wasn't that the Supreme Court that like was specifically about black on
Black and white people? Black and white people.
And what about the amendments that like freed slaves? What about the Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights movements? What about the Crown Act? What about all the different laws that benefit Black people?
I'm not talking about benefit. I'm talking about exclusively for. But there's a lot of laws that benefit.
Does it matter?
Yes.
So if they say, let's say outlawing slavery, right?
You understand the point that I'm getting at?
I do understand.
There have been laws passed that exclusively reach out to a certain group of people, except for Black people.
I'm having trouble finding one because I'm looking right now, and I can't see one that also wouldn't help us.
I'm not saying it doesn't help. There's a lot that has been passed.
Literally, that's what you were saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I can help clarify.
Do you know the name of this anti-Asian law so I can look it up? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
The COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what you mean by that. I want to look it up.
Give me a second.
But again, while you do that, this dude to me seems like a fake Pan-African. I don't know a lot about him.
That's fine.
When we talk about division, right? I know one of the things that he talked about was ADHD not being a real thing. He calls it a hoax.
That's not what he said.
He calls it a hoax, and
I
do believe
that's not what he said. He said it's been misdiagnosed in Black people at an exponential rate. That's what he said.
Hold on, quick.
Not being real.
Do think. Go ahead.
At the end of the day, though, even this dude.
What dude?
If he helps the movement, cool.
What dude are you talking about?
Dr. Umar. That's the dude we've been talking about for an hour and some change. Mr. Umar. Can't take away his license. He never had one. So
disrespectful.
Whatever. He disrespecting a lot of people.
Boys in their feelings, man. Hey, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I don't feel the need to respect anybody that is this short-sighted. And technically, he told me, I guess I do fit into his pro-Black thing, but at the same time, he probably would think I don't. So whatever. I didn't marry a Black American woman. I married a Black Latina American woman, like
Afro Latina.
Exactly. So in my book, I'm like, her boat just stopped a little further than mine. Whatever. Still Black. I've seen her ancestors. Like, yo, her DNA test says she almost not as Nigerian as mine.
So
And
Umar has said ADHD does not exist, neither does the learning disability. Now,
Where do you get that from? Where do you get it from? Let me
he said that in an interview on 93.7. I'll send you a link afterwards, but that's a quote from him as part of a larger quote. Okay. So that's what he said. And my thing is, I have a background in early childhood education, right? And school readiness and learning disabilities. I will 100% agree that one of the problems of the systemic part of the issues that are affecting our people and other people as well too, but again, our people, is overdiagnosis of learning disabilities, right? And how that can set off a prison to a school to prison pipeline. That is 100% a real thing. I believe that there's well documented evidence for that. But to look and say that the disability doesn't exist is something that, in my opinion, and through my own personal experience and background, is something that if you do not address those things early on with early childhood education, you will have more negative outcomes amongst these people. And we come from a culture that doesn't take ADHD seriously. We do. That doesn't mean that it's not overdiagnosed or things like that. But saying that it doesn't exist puts a large amount of Black boys and Black girls at a disadvantage. Now, should we just prescribe everyone pills? No, I don't think so. There's a process. But a parent you don't have it and just ignores it because it doesn't exist, and that's part of the white agenda or whatever, that's like demonstrably detrimental to Blackness, in my opinion.
So if I may, like I said, I've followed Dr. Umar. I haven't watched all his podcasts and all his appearances without the smart ass comments, right? Before you start getting personal, I see feelings are bubbling to the top.
No. So this is default.
So like I said, I've been following him for some time. I have not heard him say that it doesn't exist. I have heard him say repeatedly misdiagnosis, right? So I'm very much interested in you sending me that link so I can see that, so I can stand corrected. Because for him to say, "Oh,
hold on," if I send that and you hear him say that, would you agree that's something that with his platform could disproportionately hurt Black boys and girls that have a learning?
Absolutely, but I don't know if it was said jokingly. I don't know what it was, because like I said, I've heard him say this.
Stuff joking too.
I've said that I've heard him say what I've said several times, multiple times.
I have too.
You've heard what?
I've heard him say what you said that he says. So I know that part of what he says. And that's why I told you, I started this whole thing saying I will absolutely agree that it's been overdiagnosed. It's been
Send it.
Yeah. And I think that that's very different than saying it doesn't exist. I think that's very different saying.
Absolutely. Send it. Let me check it out.
That's just one of the many different things that
go on. Fact check. You're being quiet over there. You can fact check while we have this discussion.
That's part of what I'm doing.
It's a list of blanket statements.
Did you send that link?
I'm talking on my hands. I'm not typing right now. I will send it, and I'll put it in the description of the thing when we release it. Yeah, it's a list of blanket statements with no qualifications coming from a person with the pulpit and the ears of many impressionable Black people.
I get it. I hear that. But what I'm saying is send it so we can verify, because I'm interested.
I worry that this dude may be doing more harm to the Black community than.
That's my concern. That's my thing. I think he's doing harm. I said he's sowing division.
He sounds divisive.
At least with ADHD, that's like demonstrable harm. I think that's not a good thing.
He sounds divisive to the Black community. He sounds misinformed, which could lead whoever his followers are to do the wrong thing for their well-being, their family. I haven't heard him say much that like.
Have you heard him? You say you didn't hear him about it.
From what you're telling me, it's not enough to make me think like you, being his follower, should know like, oh, he says this, he says this, he says this, and I haven't heard much that would be like.
For the record, he hasn't said he said anything that he didn't say. There's a lot of, and my problem is that when you speak in platitudes, a lot of people hear the loud part, but they don't listen to the quiet part.
So that's my problem. When we started, I paraphrased a couple of things that he has done, things that he's noted for. 1 hour and 56 minutes into it, you saying that, hey, I haven't said anything. Maybe I need to go back and.
No, I'm saying you haven't said that he said anything that he didn't say.
The rebel.
Okay.
And I hadn't said anything. He doesn't know too much about the guy. So I'm like, okay, maybe I need to work on my introduction more. But I thought I said a
I think
lot of
it's
things.
been a fun conversation though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want it to be informative. So if one of the hosts doesn't know what this guy stands for and it seems divisive, I started talking about self-reliance, the pillars, key pillars, education, economic
Yeah.
self-reliance, these are things I think that, hey, are not divisive. I think these are things
Absolutely.
would strengthen the Black community if we had a Black bank that Black people invested their money in. One of the things that we hear all the time is that Black people, we spend our money in other communities before we spend in our own. And I don't know how true that is, but if that's the case, I'd rather spend money in the Black. I pride myself on trying to.
Why does he say it like if we had a Black bank? Carver Bank exists.
I have my money in holdings in Black banks.
One, I'm not giving you quotes. I'm saying he said we need to invest in what's it called?
Carver.
Black banks, Black-owned banks.
One United.
So when he said we need to, you doesn't mean we. So if the majority of us have the idea like F Wells Fargo and Chase and we start doing Carver and all this other stuff, then I think that would be something that's moving towards that economic self-reliance and investing in Black-owned banks.
Yeah. And for the record,
I don't think that's a
even
bad thing.
Carver and One United have an asterisk on them about how Black-owned they are.
But
Yeah,
to that point, we start getting into blacker
class
than
shit.
thou. Holier than blacker than
That's
thou.
class shit.
But the asterisk is what?
I was telling Rebel that even the two banks that we named, there's an asterisk as far as like how Black owned they are, because when you go up the chain as far as what do you call it when, I'm not the financial guy, but what do you call it when the
Fiduciaries?
No, like when you have enough money in the side so that if they do a call, you can like actually give people their money back.
No, I'm taking trading. My bad. Never mind.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Reserve.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, you basically have enough money to back the whole bank. Like the people who back those Black banks aren't Black, so and you need that in order for a bank to really exist. So we were really talking about Black banks. We'd have to go a lot smaller than the two banks that we talked about, which I think what Jaysome is talking about, a really small community bank.
So I think what he's talking about is end game, right? End goal, right? If you have a Black store, a Black-owned business that gets their products from the Chinese people, hey, that the owner is Black, but is it Black-owned? If we can get to where we produce products and put into our community, if we can get to that place, that'd be a good thing, because now you're creating jobs on that production line, right? So I think that's what he's talking about. That's why one of the reasons that the school is taking so long is because he wants everything to be Black. And if that's his goal and he accomplishes it, then that's something to smile upon, because it's difficult to do, especially in the way we're set up in this country right now.
They almost seize that land because you couldn't pay $65,000.
Yeah, like to me again, that seems short-sighted. If he could have started the Black school years ago, then you'd be helping Black people. But because you're like, oh, I want to wait until it's perfect. Bruh, we went to Booker T ain't perfect.
There's nothing wrong with having that as a goal. And everybody can say, oh,
there is something wrong with having that as a goal if you never.
Is something wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly. If you never establish the school, then
lack of results in a timely fashion that set by who?
Absolutely, a decade's a long time with $500,000.
If you never establish the school because of these goals, then it was a bad goal. If he cannot establish this school in his lifetime because of this goal, then it was a bad goal.
I don't think so.
It could be a big.
So if the school, so then if his school never gets established, if this school never ever in the history of ever gets established because of this goal,
so one, that's a reach.
That's fine.
No, I'm saying that's a reach, right?
It's not a reach. It's as of right now, it's reality.
No, you said ever,
as of right now, as of this moment. Where's his?
When you initially said his lifetime, I was like, okay, I was going to piggyback on that, because there have been some ideas that started by somebody. That person died and it was picked up and completed, whether it be one generation, two generations, and they kept the same foundational goals. Now, because that person didn't finish it in their lifetime and somebody else did, does it make it bad? I would say no.
That sounds like it got started though.
Hold on,
absolutely.
Regardless of the
Before you can finish
level of downness, regardless of the level of downness and Pan-Africanismness or whatever that he has, right? I think that if your goal is to create a school, and over a decade has passed,
it's a little bit more than create a school. It's a little bit more than create a school.
Hold on. and you've accumulated around I think like $600,000, and you almost lose the land because you can't pay a $45,000 bill, I think as a product manager that is bad product management.
Without looking at anything,
least.
without looking at anything, you can confidently say that's a bad
Yeah,
product
it's just a smell test. Absolutely. Yeah, I could say that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The thing is, if I give you $10 to go get me a carton of milk from the store, and you come back a week later, I'm like, you're bad at whatever that goal is. You should have been did that. I don't know exactly how much a carton of milk costs, but I know $10 should pay for something in that time. Yeah, I think so. And I think we have to hold people accountable for stuff like that.
When you're judging without even looking at anything that could have happened, if you send me to go get a carton of milk, and
I looked.
But if you look, say it when you're making your statement so that people can know, oh, okay, cool. If you send me to go get a carton of milk and I come back in a week and you're like, oh, that's a failure, and I got robbed, I got this, and there's a whole bunch of things that happened in between. Okay, the end goal wasn't complete, but some things should be understandable. But I guess with you guys, nope. If it didn't get taken care of, then okay, fine. Especially when it comes to financial management, I don't know. I guess we just look at
the very least, who's managing that money? There's very real questions to be answered, and the transparency on answering those questions, either one, and I've looked in some of these, either one, no real transparency, or two, there's always an explanation. There's always an excuse. And to me, that's a big signal. Now, granted,
an explanation.
Actually, if you got robbed and you didn't come back with the milk, you still failed to get in the milk. Is it understandable failure?
I'm not giving you money. I'm not giving you money to get more milk. Nah, bro, you good. Yeah, I was gonna get myself. So
it's an understandable failure, but you still failed at getting the milk. If you were given money to start the school and you didn't start the school, you're failing at starting the school. Okay. Is that understandable failure? There's probably millions of plausible reasons why you have not done it yet, but you're still failing at starting the school.
Yay, called Walt Disney. Now, listen, all seriousness, because we got to close up. Jaysome, are there any final thoughts, ideas, things that you want to get out to wrap this up in a nice bow? We always usually get like an opportunity to either do that thing.
No, I'm pretty much content. I think my position on how I view Dr. Umar still remains. I wasn't here trying to convince anybody of anything. I was just expressing why I appreciate him. I do think that one of the problems in the Black community is inclusiveness, right? We're always trying to include everybody, which can create hurdles, right? I think in the Black community, it's just in our nature to be like, hey, come on in, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen other communities who work on themselves first. So some of this pushback that, oh, why are we being exclusive? Why we can't just let other people? I've heard that before. So
I think there's a fine line, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think some of that is survival, though. Like I said earlier, it's not like it was a Black president who signed the Civil Rights Act. And it's not like it was purely Black people that convinced him to do
what?
Just saying.
What?
Jaysome, do you want to plug any businesses, social medias, events? I know that you DJ. Are there any DJ events or parties that you got going on? This is your opportunity to use our immense platform.
I can put my Cash App. Y'all want to drop me some cash? I would appreciate that. What's up?
We can donate that to the FDMG.
You know what I'm saying? No,
to Dr. Umar's school.
I'm donating to Dr. Umar's school. And
I can dig a hole and you can just throw your money in there. Just anyway. Any socials? Anything like that? You want to go?
No socials. I need to make some so next time I come, I can promote it.
Man, I need some fine African custom wear. I wonder where I could get some custom African and Nigerian suits from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. This is one guy, he does good work. Anytime I have a need for some authentic Nigerian, West African attire, quality material, professional service within a timely manner. I think one time I got something within 2 weeks. I had a wedding that I had to go to and I was looking better than the groom.
Was this sewn here or is it like, because a lot of things sewn here aren't even like real and authentic.
This is straight across the Atlantic, baby. So you can't find any of the material. Absolutely. You can't find anything like that over here, man. I've tried. I went to the fashion fabrics and all these other things, but nope. So the guy's name, it's Onyisi Designs, Onyesi Designs. You can find him on Instagram. I think there's a TikTok, but yeah, he definitely responds very quickly.
Website?
Our website is onyesidesigns.com. If you're ever in the market for looking fresh, being cultural,
Pan-African and extra black. Unapologetically black.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black. But yeah, just hit him up. He'll set up a consultation time. Everything that he does is an original piece. So he finds out, is there any colors you want to work with? He creates designs for you. Once you approve the design, then they go into the production, and that's where it gets put together and gets sent to you, to your doorstep within a 14-day time period. So it's pretty decent. Prices is very affordable for something of that quality and that attention to detail.
I will say I'm aware of what you're talking about, and they've done a lot of weddings. So if there's any listeners out there who want some authentic Nigerian stuff for grooms, it's mostly men material, but they do women's, I believe. That want authentic stuff for the groom and the groomsmen. It's straight up legit. Check it out online. Check it out on Instagram. I have a couple of pieces myself, and everything's custom measured, tailored. It's dope.
And again, where can they check this out at? What website?
ONYEISI Designs, Onyisi. Funny thing, Onyisi, it means the boss. So not only will you look like the boss, the clothes come from the boss. I'm pretty sure we'll tag something here shortly.
We got that.
Yeah. Use promo code GetFresh for 10% off.
Promo code Snow Bunny for 0% off.
For a 10% markup.
All right, man. Let's do the thing.
All right, hold hands.
Hey, man, thanks a lot, bro. This has been fun. I think it's been fun. I hope you have fun as well, too. You know what I'm saying? And I'll definitely get those links to you and even put them in like the bio or whatever, so the viewers and listeners can listen along.
And I'm also sending you guys some links so you can get some Dr. Umar Johnson. Man.
Oh, I'm on his IG page right now. So far, he's 2 for 2. Everything I've clicked on, I agree with. Hey, so he's like, there's this mixed girl. She's, mixed people are black, and I agree. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Are we winning points? Okay. The guy's cool. The guy's cool, man.
He's talking about a Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime. He's look, this dude already got to speak the language of one colonizer. Why y'all mad he ain't speaking English?
That's definitely on brand. Like I said.
Yeah. I'm like, all right.
Platitudes.
You need to do a better job of representing this Umar guy. Okay. Let him speak for himself.
All right, Rebel.
But I'm kidding. Thank you for coming through, man.
No problem, man. No problem.
I'll hold further judgment on Umar until I've done more research on this guy.
Okay.
I will.
Send me that link. Scroll them.
Next episode. Welcome to the HLS Podcast. This is brother Grand Rising.
I hate Grand Risings, by the way.
C. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Rebel, let's go.
All right. This has been the HLS Podcast, the podcast that never was. Late to the party, to that point. Radical Teddy and Friends, Her Latest Seduction, Haters Loving Side Notes, Happens Like Sundowns, Hippies Lucid Showers, His Longest Speech.
Hotep's Loving Snow Bunnies.
Yeah, I was trying to get it. I'm the Rebel Alliance.
I'm Scrotola.
And this is Electric Thunder. Thank y'all for listening again. Don't forget to subscribe.
Big shout out to Jaysome.
To Jaysome Electric. God damn.
Oh,
yeah. I'm trying to go.
Bedtime.
Oh, man. Hey, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Let us know what you think.
We got a brand new website, HLSpodcast.net. Yeah, .net. HLSpodcast.net. That's what it is. All right. That was good one.
Yeah. All right. Thank y'all for listening.
And we out.